Hey everybody, I'm Jeff McKay from LearnToFly.ca. I'm here with Martin Mattis of Bandit Air Shows. And Martin, how you doing?
Good yourself, Jeff.
Not bad. And I see this airplane we're standing in front of. It's truly awesome. It's a Russian or a Soviet trainer Yak-52. So Martin, can you tell us about your Yak-52?
Well, this Yak-52 is still the primary Russian flight trainer in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And currently now there's about 100 flying in the US already, and this is the 4th Canadian one registered in Canada now.
So I guess the pilots have to learn to fly in this before they can fly in a MiG, right?
That's correct, but actually the gentleman I was training with here actually started his first tour on L-29s and then did a 10-year tour on the Yaks, but that's not the way it's supposed to work.
And we'll point out, here's Martin's L-29 right next to his Yak. Amazing looking L-29. So how old is this airplane?
This was actually 1983. It's actually one of the newest airplanes in the field here. If you look around here, most of those airplanes they're older, from the 70s.
And when did you pick it up?
Just about 3 years ago.
Okay. And in many hours in this? How many hours have you flown in it?
I've got about 100 hours now in it.
Wow, it's an amazing looking airplane. So how about top end? It's top speed?
It's a 360 horsepower M14P engine, radial engine, one of the most reliable radial engines in the world.
Yep.
But you got to treat it right. It has a top speed of actually about 400 kilometers an hour, but that's only in a dive. Straight and level flight, they say not to go faster than 300 kilometers an hour, but it actually only cruises about 220 kilometers an hour.
And how about the stall speed, dirty?
No, it's around 100 knots, 111 knots, or sorry, kilometers.
100 kilometers, okay.
Yeah, so it's not that slow, but...
and it's good for aerobatics as well?
Oh, fully aerobatic.
Oh, wonderful. How many Gs?
+7, -5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how about the propeller on this? What size propeller? 8 foot?
8 foot propeller,
8 foot,
yeah. That one's imported from the UK,
Yeah.
because there's no service shops in Canada that can service them or certify them, so.
Yeah, it's got to be expensive to keep a plane like this in the air,
it
right?
sure is.
Yeah, so can you give us a tour of the cockpit?
Sure can, yeah.
Okay, great. So I love the cockpit in the Yak-52. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Actually, this cockpit is completely original from Russia, other than the altimeter. The altimeter is in feet, and everything else is still original. It's in metric. So we got airspeed is in kilometers instead of knots. Manifold pressure is in millibars or bars, and again, all the temperature gauges and everything's in Celsius and in kg, and liters for the fuel. So everything's still original the way they fly it in Russia.
And do you have an accelerometer in there as well?
Yeah, sure do. A G-meter. Actually, it's reset for 0 right now.
And then it'll actually show you how many Gs you pulled,
Yeah,
or high Gs you're going to fly?
That's right. I've pulled this airplane so far +6 and -2.
Wow. Yeah, pretty interesting cockpit. So I understand, Martin, that you're a bit of a movie star, and your airplane, your Yak-52, is a huge movie star.
Well,
can you tell me about that?
The plane's a star. I'm not the star, but you're right. Last November, we filmed for Resident Evil Afterlife in Oshawa Airport.
A great movie. I've seen the movie. Fantastic movie.
No, they did a good job of it. And, no, we spent the week there, Oshawa, and I couldn't believe how much equipment and manpower they bring up and lease for the movie industry.
Yep. And you met, I guess, a few of the actors.
That's right. I met Paul Anderson, the director, and his wife Milla, who's a star.
Yep.
In fact, I had to help her and show her how to turn the propeller to simulate that it was shutting down.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we had to show her all that, and then she was actually in the airplane, in and out of the airplane almost all day the one day for that one scene, which took virtually all day.
And there's Ali Larder as well, because
I didn't meet Ali Larder, but she was in the thing, and she was actually tied to, in the scene where she was tied to the other airplane.
Yep.
In the background, you don't see a good movie, the Yak was just right behind Milla's shoulder there.
That was the graveyard scene too. I saw quite a few airplanes in the graveyard.
Actually, a lot of that there was probably only really realistically about 10 airplanes at that scene, and the rest were all CGI'd in.
Oh wow.
But
how about a lot of the scenes? Was it done CGI? Like I know that she flew from, I guess, Tokyo to Alaska.
That's right.
She landed on a roof. There's an airplane landed on a ship.
Well, I can't.
You didn't do all those flight scenes, did you?
Or I'd get in trouble with Transport Canada if I admitted I landed on the roof.
Okay. So I love the red paint on the Yak-52. Can you tell me about that?
Well, actually, originally the movie Paul Anderson wanted to paint this for real, and they had scheduled it 3 times to go to Sky Harbor and have it painted, and then they changed their mind, and so they just actually fake painted it originally for the movie, and so they fake painted it here. I flew to Oshawa, and then they had to do some touch-ups because a little bit of the paint came off. And afterwards, I thought, you know what, it looked good in red.
So it looks fantastic.
So I painted
colors.
That's right, and so I painted it red myself, or had it done now in red.
Even in the first Resident Evil movie, if you've seen it, Milla wore a red dress pretty much throughout the whole movie, so it ties in really well when you're flying in the red airplane. So, well, it looks great. It's a perfect color scheme and great airplane.
There's actually 2 scenes in the movie where I'm actually in the airplane.
Yep.
And one of them is where I'm coming in close onto the camera, and that camera is worth like $500,000. And the director actually could see me too much, And so they had to grip, they're called, come up to the windscreen and paint it with white paint, and so they blocked my
blur
view.
you out.
Even though I was wearing the wig and the jacket that she was wearing, and but it was actually, I was a little concerned a few times because we're a little close. The brakes aren't the super thing on the Yak, and I've got this big 8-foot propeller, you know, a meter away from their $1 million camera.
Oh yeah.
And so they eventually put chocks down. I was sort of complaining on the headset, but.
And I guess they had you dressed a bit like Milla?
Totally, exactly. In fact, they had me in her makeup chair that morning at 7 o'clock, sprayed out the gray and had that $7,000 wig on.
$7,000 wig?
That's what he told me. And because I said to him, I said, oh, can I just take this off when I'm done? He said, oh, no, you got to come back. I have to take it off. Oh. And so they took that real seriously. And then they took me over to the dress-up trailer and had the jacket fitted to me, too.
Okay, yeah.
And then they gave me a radio, and then all that day I was on call, so whenever they needed me, I had to go running over, and then when we did
then I guess when they're filming the plane, it looked like Milla in there.
Well, I was
actually
supposed
you in
to,
the airplane, right?
That's right.
So what did Milla think the first time she saw you?
Oh, I said to her, oh, I'm the guy that they're trying to make look like you, and I think I said something like, oh, there's not enough money in the budget, and she just howled. But later in the day, I said to her, in reality, I looked like George Clooney, and she just howled even more.
So how many days of filming did you do?
I was there about 4 days, but this was really only involved for about a day or two, and then but they kept us around for the rest of the time just in case they needed some more scenes. Actually, the Osprey crash was also filmed in Oshawa.
Oh, okay.
The one evening shot. They actually worked pretty hard. I saw the one schedule. Milla had started pickup was at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she finished at 9 at night. So
that's a long day.
Yeah, it is a long day for those guys. Yeah.
So you got to tell me something. I've done some flying in my time, and I know you're a great pilot. In the movie, there's this flashing red light on the dash. What's that supposed to be?
I never knew what that meant inside. It must be landing on building intimate.
Or stall, or landing on some
must be.
crash,
I don't know.
It adds a bit of drama to the
I always never knew what it was for.
Yeah. So. What was it? Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, it's great. No, they did a good job. I think Paul Anderson did a great job with it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. It was really good. So that's Resident Evil Afterlife, and it's 3D.
3D.
I guess it's starring Milla
Jovovich and Ali Larder.
And Ali Larder, that's right. Directed by Paul Anderson, right?
That's right.
Yeah, well, we thank you so much.
In theaters now.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Okay,
Personally, I think the Yak-52 and Martin's Flying, it's the highlight of a movie. You got to see the movie. And we thank Martin for spending a few minutes and talking to us about his filming.
Sure.
Thanks.
Just
starting up.